Well, I think we can all agree that was amazing. Wow. I've seen it so many times, and every single time I well up. We'll just do a quick Q&A, so if any questions, please just raise your hand and shoot.
How did you meet TICH?
How is this it? Yeah. It was on this artist panel, so I met him. As in, like, how I met him first, or when I was out there.
Yeah, when you first met him, how did it start?
So that was the artist panel with MART. So MART asked me in, I don't know, it was before I knew that I'd won the category. But so you.
It's 2020.
It was 2021. I don't know, 2020 or 2021. And Mark got in touch and said, "Do you want to do a panel?" I'm inviting some artists, and I said yes, so it was cool. And TICH was on the panel, and so we did a couple of rehearsals and sort of chatted a little bit, and then the panel was about an hour and a half, and I think it was just sort of lots of different. We were chatting mostly about artivism and kind of the power of art storytelling. It's on YouTube, and and TICH was on that, and we just kind of kept in touch, just kind of basically like, following each other on Instagram and kind of just messaging now and then, just because I thought it was doing really cool stuff. And then so I not met him in person before, and so the first time I met him in person was when I went to make the film. Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. What year did you meet the film?
What
year?
What year? Last year. Yeah. So I did it. I started planning in January 2022, and then I fundraised to go, so I could afford to go between February and March. And then I flew, filmed for 6 days in May, and then edited from June onwards until September. Yeah.
Where did you make the film? Where was it?
Victoria Falls. Yeah.
Victoria Falls.
Yeah.
Can you tell us a little bit about some of the conservation projects that the foundation's funding?
Yeah, I can. So we have keynote species at the foundation. We do wild dogs, rhinos, lions, snow leopards, of course elephants, pangolins, and chimps. I think I've got everything. And they go from Africa to Asia. I probably could say my personal favourite is the elephant orphanage in Zambia. It's through a project we run with Game Rangers International, GRI, and they basically started with David Shepherd going out there with his wife. They had a baby elephant that was just dumped at their doorstep, do something with it. And they did. They built an elephant orphanage, and now today it's one of the most celebrated educational tools that Zambia uses to educate people about poaching, about the ivory trade, and it's funded by David Shepherd, so it makes everybody at the foundation immensely proud to be able to say something like that. But all of our projects are so unique and all of them are so special. It's hard to pick a favourite, but those baby elephants really do get me.
Yes. So the animations are mine, yeah. So I animated them on Procreate on iPads over a month, which was quite intense. But yeah, so they're mine. Although actually, the piece where he walks, that's TICH's original drawing, then I sketched over it, digitized it, and then animated it. So I took one of his drawings, because I wanted to have one of his drawings turning into an animation. So that was kind of his, yeah.
How much of a plan did you have when you went out? Did you know what you were going to do, or did you have a fairly blank sheet?
I had planned it. So I did. You have to plan it. I had to plan it. You should always plan things. I mean, it's not what I planned to do. As in, I went out there and I really don't like planning things. I liked doing the risk assessment. I didn't like planning the story because I never met TICH in person, and I didn't know because I wanted it to kind of reflect what was out there, and I hadn't seen what was out there, and so I had a really loose plan, and it's not. I mean, I can tell you if you want, but it's not what happened. And then things changed when we were out there. So, for example, the elephants. There were 2 herds, so I didn't know which herd we were going to get. So I planned for both herds, and we got the second herd, not the first herd. And also, we did not get very much time with the elephants. I was thinking, oh, we'll have like half an hour until to sketch the elephants, and then I know the elephant just kind of walked through, and so things like that were quite unexpected, so that's quite difficult to plan for. I also was never expecting to author it, where my voice goes through the entire film. I kind of didn't really want to, because I wanted to really focus on TICH, but actually, I don't know, I spoke to people when everyone was kind of like, oh, you should probably be in the film too, because it's kind of both of your stories, and TICH often speaks to me off camera, so it makes sense to have my voice guiding it with TICH's. So there were lots of things I did fun.
You also didn't plan for TICH being an hour late to his first
Oh my
exhibition.
goodness, yeah. Yeah, TICH was an hour late. We turned up and he just wasn't there, and no one knew where he was. And he'd just gone home, and I think he was really nervous, and he just was so worried that people weren't going to come and they weren't going to like his stuff. Even though, like, I told him that they were, but actually having done my own exhibition, it is actually just exactly how you feel. So I can actually, I think after my exhibition, I sent him a voice in, and I was like, yeah, I know exactly, I know exactly how you felt, yeah.
Is his work now sold everywhere? Has he been able through those exhibitions to now promote his work?
I think so, yeah. So he's had like more kind of exhibitions, and he's had like exhibitions where he's sold stuff. So before Christmas he sold quite a few pieces, and I'm hoping that especially when I release the film publicly that will make quite a big difference. But I know that he's definitely had sort of sales, and he sold a few things on that exhibition that we had out there. I think he sold a couple of prints and things. So I think so, and I hope it will continue to kind of just draw attention to him as an artist, and to other artists out there, because there are so many talented artists in Victoria Falls and in Africa. So yeah. There was a question about that.
Yes. Elisa, what have you got planned next for your own artwork and any more films?
Oh goodness, that's a huge question. Yes, okay, I'll do the film one first, because that's easier. I've just got a grant from WageQuest, who are an organisation that conserve wages around the UK, and so as part of that I bought this camera, because I didn't have a film camera before. And so for that I'm going to be producing a film about curlews and looking at their song and how they're quite mysterious creatures. Lots of people love them, lots of people haven't seen them, lots of people have heard them. And so I'm going to be focusing on curlews and their song, and that's going to be partially animated and it's going to be partially filmed, a bit like this. But it's also going to have a lot of different voices, because curlews have so many different people working to conserve them and to protect them. So people who are writers and artists and songwriters, as well as gamekeepers and landowners and conservationists and scientists. So I kind of want to sort of have all of that in like a short film that I'm going to be producing this year for release next year. And then the art one, oh my goodness, it's huge. I've been doing a few artivism pieces recently. I've been experimenting more and more with colour since meeting TICH, which has been really fun. I think over the last few years my art's changed quite a lot, but that's been really, I don't know, it's quite nice to kind of look back and see how much I've changed my art style. I don't know, have I got any like specific kind of art projects? I'm working on a prehistoric series at the moment, so they're all kind of like paleo pieces, things that don't exist anymore. So yeah, I guess that's the thing that comes to mind. But the one that started.
A question about the digital piece of the exhibition. With the new categories, is there anything in particular that you're looking for, or are you just waiting to see what comes in?
That's a really good question. I was actually part of the judging process last year, and when I say what comes in is eclectic. There is from some of the most bizarre things you'll ever see to actual masterpieces that you think there should be in the British Museum. So really, it's about expressing yourself, and you don't have to fit within any boundary or be limited by anything. It's what you feel, and you put it onto a canvas, and that's it. That's what we look for. We look for passion and skill or professionalism. It doesn't matter to us. It's just about feeling what that artist feels.
I'd recommend targeting the new categories as well, probably because they're going to be less subscribed, so maybe
Definitely.
a chance of getting in.
Yeah, so Abstract World is one of our new ones, and that's a very expressive category. Obviously, abstract art is completely non-figurative, so it can be 3 strokes of canvas, or it could be a line that's made up of very short, sharp brushstrokes that you have to stand really far away from to see. And I think by introducing this category, it opened the door to a lot of artists, especially coming out of art school, that don't really fit the mould. They don't really want to sit and paint a lion just as it looks. They don't feel that when they look at it. And I think by introducing that abstract category, it allows people to be a little bit more, I choose the word flamboyant for a reason, because it is. It's completely off the track. So that's a good one, and obviously Youth Exclusive, which is starting from 17, so everybody from 17 can enter.
I've got a couple. Has TICH seen the film and what's his thoughts of it? And also, if like people here tonight wanted to buy prints of his artwork, like can you buy them through David Shepherd, or does he have a website?
Yeah, so he has seen the film. I sent it to him, and then he took about 2 months to watch it. But he has seen it, and he really likes it. So I'm very pleased, because it mattered to me a lot that he liked it. So and his kids and his wife have seen it, and they would like it too. Buy them directly through him. So he has an Instagram and a Facebook and a TikTok. But probably contact him through Facebook and Instagram. His handle is TICH the Watchman. But if you can't find him, contact me and I will push you in his direction. But yeah, if you drop him a message, because he does do prints, but I think it's quite complicated to send them out to UK, but he can definitely do it. So, yeah.
Another one at the back.
I've got a question for Martin.
Feeling left out.
Sometimes it feels like there's an overwhelming amount of issues in the world. How do you kind of hone on specific ones? How do you go about finding the ones that mean the most for you? So you're not being too general with it.
Yeah, that's a good point. There are a lot of issues. It's true. But I think, part of it's not really a question, but how I deal with that is through artivism. Practicing art. We've spoken about this before. It's so good for your mental health, and it's a way that you can address these really serious issues in, I guess, a safer space. But there's just so much that you can cover, and that's the nice thing about art compared to filmmaking, maybe, or if you're making those big BBC films that take 4 years in production, you have to be quite selective about what you look at. But we don't have to be that way, especially if you create work as quickly as you do, or Alicia does. You can cover all sorts of issues. For me, I don't know really. It's I'm always thinking about all different things, and then suddenly an idea will just come into my head when I'm in the shower or on a walk or something, and I just have to go and get it down on paper. At least the idea, because the process is long. The process takes several weeks, months sometimes. But does that answer your question? Yeah. I'm currently working on an elephant that looks an awful lot like that. Actually, it's like the perspective. I was drawn to that perspective, and it's a piece that I've had in my mind for a little while, and I'm really enjoying it. So. Thanks.
Again, for you.
Oh.
I know for Alicia, when the whale sang was sort of
Yeah.
the first step into artivism. Was there a moment or a piece that for you set you on that journey of exploring artivism?
Do you know what? I think I mentioned it in the talk, but that moment where I was kind of embarrassed at the filmmaking course was me. All embarrassment coming from me, but that really hit home. I was like, yeah, that's a really good point. Unless you tell them, how are they going to know? But then it wasn't for a few years until I started working, or until I sort of turned to artivism. But I just reached a stage where I was just getting frustrated with my own work, that it didn't seem to have enough meaning behind it. And I felt like because I use one medium, plastic pencils, and I felt like I'd almost mastered the medium. And so I was really pleased with my work from a technical point of view, but it was the meaning, it was the message. For me, it needed to have more to it. And that's kind of how I sidestepped into artivism, which is a term that is quite common. It's maybe been around for 20 years, but I kind of added wildlife to it to make it appropriate for our industry. And yeah, I've been promoting it. Alicia took up the call, and so many other artists as well. Some of them here tonight are producing artivism works, which is really, really great to see. And I think the practice is growing. and now we've got the category away as well. So hopefully we'll see more awesome autism.
We have time for one more question, so go for it.
I just wanted to ask, how is activism, how is the piece determined to be activism?
Yeah, so that's it doesn't really matter. It's up to you, really. For me, it's the call to action, I think. So activism is kind of in wildlife. It's like a reaction to the changing world, where we have to just be a bit louder to be heard. Because maybe once upon a time, people had the time to sit and really take in beauty and for that to inspire. But especially online, that world doesn't exist anymore. So when you write a newsletter or something, everyone's like, calls to action, get all the calls to action in there. And it's the same kind of thing with art. I'm trying to embed message into the work, just so that it stands out, I guess. But like I said, if you are someone who's more traditional artist, but you talk about conservation, you're really active, you're out there trying to get it in the mainstream, then that's also artivism. It's the activism element.
I guess sometimes it's just highlighting underrepresented species. Sometimes like species that people don't know about. And I think for me, it's the scientific message and stuff, and the kind of communicating a science and trying to show people this animal exists. Sometimes, like if you do something and someone's never seen it before, that's important too, because otherwise no one knows they exist otherwise. And that doesn't have to be like you don't have to show things in a kind of gory way or in a sort of distressing way. You can show them in a really beautiful way, or you can just show them in this traditional sense, and people go, "Oh my god, I didn't know that existed." And I think that is activism too.
I want to thank everyone for coming again. It really has been amazing, and your support has been phenomenal. I have an extremely important announcement with the raffle winner. Number 96. Oh, the name's on the back. I'm so bad. I'm so sorry. Wow. Gabriel? Oh, it's you! Okay, guys, if you want to make your way downstairs, have a hot drink, and we can have a little chat down there if you have any more questions. But thank you so much for coming.